call Allah Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakwadash. That's who this world ignorantly called God and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit in the Paleo Ancient Hebrew tongue. Double honors to the elders and apostles across the four corners of the earth that's pushing this truth and sincerity. You know what that truth is with the elders and the apostles, with the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Here to give a sit down about this Charlie Kirk guy, man. He was assassinated, man. And I meant to get into it yesterday, man, but I had to. I really wanted to do a little bit more digging and reading up some more things about it, man, before I speak on it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got some videos. I got some clips. I'm gonna show y'all as well. Fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. All videos, all clips that I'm going to show is fair use YouTube, okay? God damn. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna get into this Charlie Kirk thing, man. What happened, man? And hey, he was he spoke well for the small hats, and I guess hey, basically he worked for them, you know what I mean? And there were things that he was saying amongst the small hats that I'm going to present in these videos, man, to where like he shouldn't have been saying, man, and he knew it, because in some of these clips I'm going to show, he stated that, well, I shouldn't say it, but that's what that's the type of time that you have to be on when you dealing with these people, man. Because some things you can't say, some things, hey, some things you may be reborn for. When you work for them or you under them and you speaking for them and you're working for them, man, you can't just walk away. You can't just want to just quit or not do what they want you to do, messing with them small hats, you'll be fired, man. And when you're fired, you're reborn, man. You put you somewhere where you have to be, the Lord had to bring you back as through the womb, And excuse my speech, man. Esau's mad, man. They're mad, man. So, brothers, we have to watch what we say, man, and watch how we say things. We have to be circumspect and real circumspect, and we have to be more prudent now, man. But let me get into this clip, man, okay? I got two clips. One clip, I think I'm going to play damn near all of it. It's 12 minutes. I'm not going to play all of this, but I'm going to play most of it because I want you to see the point that, what I'm trying to make, man, And, I feel like the small hats had taken a part of this, partake in this and the incident on the train, because that incident in North Carolina, it do look kind of strange when you actually see the real clip, man. So, who's to say it's real or not real, man? Hey, we ain't ignorant of Esau devices, man. We can't put nothing past this man. But I'm gonna play.
All right, we're here in downtown Seattle at Westlake Park. Easily more than 300 people for Charlie Kirk's vigil.
People are asking tough questions only hours after the shocking death of American conservative commentator and Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk.
And this is on YouTube. I got this from YouTube. This is fair use, fair use. I own no rights to these videos. I own no rights. educational purposes only.
What really sparked attention was not just the attack itself, but a strangely cryptic message from none other than war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu.
News service, and Benjamin Netanyahu had made a comment and made the announcement that Charlie Kirk had passed, that he was in fact dead, that Charlie has died. They made that announcement roughly 20 minutes after the shooting. U.S. News reported nothing of that he was stable. Some reports said that he was in surgery. Of course, obviously, I've talked to people.
Unlike other world leaders who usually issue measured condolences or stay quiet until more facts are known, Netanyahu rushed out a statement that raised more eyebrows than sympathy. His eagerness to respond so quickly feels less like compassion and more like a deliberate move, almost as if he wanted to shape the narrative before anyone else could. And that alone should set off alarms, especially when U.S. law enforcement, including the FBI, has already admitted they still do not know who the attacker was.
Again, hundreds of people here this evening for Charlie Kirk, and just a lot of emotions.
The accused remains at large, which makes many people who are familiar with the shadowy ways of Mossad nervous. The fear is simple. If Israel's infamous intelligence network has a hand in this, then the real killer may never be found. Now, let me be clear, I was never a fan of Charlie Kirk. His unapologetically pro-Israel stance, even as Gaza bleeds under genocide, made him an uncomfortable figure for me. But let's also be human here. I don't celebrate his death. Watching the video of that brutal attack, seeing his helplessness as blood poured out, it moved me to tears. Not only for his family who now face unbearable loss, but also for Palestinians who face this kind of sniper-style assassination on a near-daily basis. What happened to Kirk in an instant is the grim reality Gazans endure constantly under Netanyahu's criminal war machine. It still baffles me that someone like Kirk, a Christian who claimed to stand for truth, could be so easily deceived by Netanyahu's lies. Yet towards the end of his life, cracks began to show in his once blind loyalty. Take a moment to like and share this video. If you haven't already, kindly subscribe to support my work. Thank you.
Fact is...
All right, Salak. Now this is the point where I wanted. This is where we got to start watching. Good,
now, Bibi and the Israeli hard right...
Share this video. If you haven't already, kindly subscribe to support my work. Thank you.
Fact is now, Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
See that? I gotta watch how I say this. Peep game.
Yet towards the end of his life, cracks began to show in his once blind loyalty. Take a moment to like and share this video. If you haven't already, kindly subscribe to support my work. Thank you.
Fact is now, Bibi and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have...
Can't say too much, but let me get a precept. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, verse 7 and 8. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. Verse 8. So they shall make their own tongues fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. Hey, and what is this man doing? He's speaking on the small hats, man. He's speaking on what he represents. You heard what he said. Basically, they want to cleanse Gaza, man. They wanna reborn. They want to reborn over 2 million, man.
Have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. There is this idea that they need to have a tree from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go, and the Israeli hard right government has a mandate. I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza.
Yep.
I mean that's and I don't use that term lightly. Okay, they're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there. Okay, and honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally crap. After you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets. But there are some serious questions here, Patrick. And let me tell you, my pattern recognition over the last 5 years has become pretty sharp. COVID, Maui fires, Epstein. When I see a story and it doesn't click, our guts are usually right. So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country.
You hear that? See? He was catching on to things, man. He was catching on to things that the small hats have been doing in this place. He was catching on to them, man. And he was speaking about them. He was asking questions. When I say small hats, I mean the ones on this side that's over there in the land, okay, in Jerusalem, okay. Hey, he was catching on to these things, man, and questioning them, man. And when you question these small hats, they don't like that, man. They want you to do whatever they got planned out. They want you to go with whatever they got planned out. They don't want you to ask no question.
Here's a fortress.
You see?
When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is.
Yeah.
And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by reports 6 hours. Let's say it's 3 hours.
That's suspect. Go ahead, Rob.
It's also not like a right-wing reporting. This is from the New York Times. The long
Thank
wait
you.
for help as massacre unfolds in Israel.
9
I can't think of a
hours.
more liberal news outlet than the New York Times.
And by the way, I'm actually very pro-Israel. So let me be so I'm not exactly.
Well, I think we all are.
No, I just want to make sure my position is clear here. But so Patrick, there are other explanations. It's possible that the Netanyahu government was double-crossed by bad agents. Okay? That's dark, but it's not as dark as what we're talking about.
He suggested that Mossad may have allowed the attack.
You see? He's up there on these podcasts is talking too much, man. That's why I got that scripture. This is Psalm 64, verse 7 and 8. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly they shall be wounded. So they shall make their own tongues fall upon themselves, man. The Lord is using, he used they own to tell on them. And he started talking too much, man. You can't He's sitting on these podcasts telling the world what Israel, Salat, small hat, is doing. You know? It's crazy. And then, he's coming at their neck, asking them questions. Then he said, man, it's all type of wickedness going on over there that them small hats is doing to them people, man. The guns and stuff, man. They're burning them alive, starving women and children. It's a bunch of wickedness going on, man. And he's talking about it, freely.
Attack to happen deliberately to give Netanyahu a blank.
He pushes freedom of speech. And he has a lot of freedom of speech. And he pushed a lot of freedom of speech, man. He said a lot of things, man. Hey, we'll show that too.
Okay? That's dark, but it's not as dark as what we're talking about.
He suggested that Mossad may have allowed the attack to happen deliberately to give Netanyahu a blank check for his ethnic cleansing campaign. That's not something you say without making enemies in Tel Aviv.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews.
A beast. It's crazy that he said beast, man. Same beast in Revelation, man. Lord,
And they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits. It's the movies. It's Hollywood. It's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
Kirk also openly supported Candace Owens, one of the rare conservative voices willing to call out Netanyahu by name. For someone at his level, that was risky.
We put them in power. We displaced the Shah. We displaced the democratically elected leader Mossadegh and put in the Shah, which then, of course, led to the Ayatollahs of Iran. And then finally, is a nuclear weapon against Iran a threat to America? Probably. Could be. It's a threat to Israel, but is it a threat to America? I mean, India has nuclear weapons. Pakistan has nuclear weapons. So is it worth a potential another war with Iran? And the people that are, let's just say, advocates for preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon by all means necessary, they're the same architects that were perfectly fine with the Iraq War, the same designers of the Iraq War. The primary way Iran can hurt this country is by sucking us into another Middle East quagmire, and they know it. And Iran would have the potential to be the worst Middle East quagmire of all time. Iran has 90 million people. That's more than 3 times as big as Iraq was when we invaded 22 years ago. It's larger than both Afghanistan and Iraq combined, both in population and in area. Iraq was at least mostly a flat country. It's a bunch of cities along a couple rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Iran isn't like that. It's almost all mountains. Iran has spent decades preparing specifically for war with the United States. Their military has lots of weapons designed for fighting a much stronger adversary. They have a lot of drones, a lot of speedboats, a lot of cheap, expendable weapons. They're far more formidable than Iraq or the Taliban were. And I seriously want your thoughts. Email me, freedom@charliekirk.com. Would you say it's a good idea to use military force to strike potential Iranian nuclear targets? My whole life, I've been told that Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a bomb. Iran is getting a nuclear bomb. And yet here in 2025, they do not have a nuclear bomb. So why should we trust the American intelligence without verifying it?
A few months back, an X account run by Harrison H. Smith claimed that Kirk confided to someone close to him that he feared for his life. The post read, "I'm not going to name names, but I was told by someone close."
Hey, and that's how it is when you're dealing with Esau, man. Get a precept, man. Hey, because what's so crazy is, he's for them. He worked for them. He represented the small hats, man. But at the same time, airing out their dirty laundry and questioning it, airing out their dirty laundry and questioning it. And when you do that, man, when you dealing with the wicked, shit, man, all you gonna receive is wrath, man. Reborn, man. You know, this Proverbs 11:23. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath, man. And hey, you know, you talking like that, man, going against the grain, man, and questioning the those people, man. Yeah, of course you're gonna be reborn, man. You know? And then it was word that
Goes to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Now, if you hear that and still think Zionist influence in America is some fringe conspiracy,
said they would kill him, bro. Okay, unalive him. Now, I did some more research, but I'm not gonna put it on here. You know what I mean? Because this video already probably on the fence, man. I'm probably showing too much. But yeah, man, it was to say that the fair use, video fair use, but it was to say that he's first of all, you see he was talking too much, right? And then he had a sit down coming up with Tucker Carlson, man. Okay, another Edomite, you know, that he be sitting down with, doing interviews and podcasts with. But it was to say that he had one coming up with a sit down interview, and they're going to be talking about the small hats and what they're doing. And they hit him up and told him, the small hats hit Esau, told Esau, look, don't do the interview. Come where we at to the promised land. Kiss the wall. It's a form of their repentance, I guess, you know. Kiss the wall and renew your oath with them. That's what I was, you know, that's what came up through me digging as well, man, you know. So they told him he need to not go to that sit down interview with Tucker Carlson. He told them no, not even that. They wanted him to go there, go kiss the wall, and renew the oath with the small hats. And he told them no. And lo and behold, look what we have here.
then you're not paying attention. This was coming from Kirk's own inner circle.
I don't have much to add to it other than basically like a month ago, I watched an interview with Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk, and I thought they looked scared, and I commented on that, made a video out of it. And then like a day or so later, I was talking to this person, and the way I remember the conversation going was that we were just talking about sort of Israel and Zionism and Zionist influencers, and Charlie Kirk came up, and I remember the other person saying to me, well, you know, Charlie Kirk says he's afraid to go against Israel because he thinks they might kill him. And I said, that's crazy, because I just made that video about how Charlie Kirk seems scared. That's crazy that you're saying that right now.
That context makes his sudden silence on certain issues more understandable. Many, including myself, are starting to believe that Kirk's pullback from questioning Zionist power wasn't a change of heart, but pure fear. When you connect the dots, it becomes chilling. He still spoke occasionally about Zionism in
Okay, so we see that this man spoke about the small hats, right? Okay. Which, you know, he feared for his life, you know, whatever, but hey, these are the consequences when you don't go what they want done. And you don't go with their agenda, man. I got one video right here. Now, I'm going to play the whole one of this. I'm going to let him cook, and then I'm going to bring out some more precepts, and then I'm going to end it.
Okay,
This
so they want
only
me to talk
12
about
minutes,
this
but I'm going to
boy,
let him cook.
Charlie Kirk.
Okay, this fair use. And hey, he's cooking, y'all, okay? I'm gonna let him cook, and I'm gonna bring out some precepts upon what he say. And through the spirit, if you listen to him, all of y'all that spirit, all the brothers that's watching, maybe Aquas, all of y'all that's listening, listen carefully, okay, through the spirit, okay? He's gonna explain basically this man was a sacrificial lamb, man, for them to kick off and blame Jake. Kick off and blame Jake, man. And I'm gonna let it play out.
Okay, so they want me to talk about this boy, Charlie Kirk, who got shot in Utah. Him getting shot in Utah makes him, I believe, American number 18,533 who got shot in the U.S. this year, shot and killed. And I think that there were 3 more people who were shot and killed in Colorado, just over the mountains, within hours of his shooting. And all the
And Salag, this man's name is Shaheed Bolson.
flags in America are going to fly half-mast, not for those 18,335 other victims, but they're going to fly half-mast for Charlie Kirk. That's just an observation. You can do with it what you will. I'll be honest, when I first heard that he had been shot, I made a joke about it on X. Because frankly, I'm just as used to theatrics coming out of America as I am used to gun violence coming out of America, and I thought that theatrics seemed more likely in this case. But when I did learn that he died, I deleted my post. I deleted it out of respect, not for him, but for the severity and for the solemnity of the judgment that he has now proceeded to. Because everything that he ever said and everything that he ever did that harmed anyone, well, he's going to answer for that. He's going to answer for that right now in his meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the heaviness of that meeting is disturbing to any of us who believe in it. But we'll talk about it. Let's start with the obvious, okay? First, I'm not going to feign grief or feign mourning for this person. I know that's a hypocrisy that social etiquette demands at a moment like this. But we all know that he would certainly not grieve for us. He certainly would not mourn for us, just as he never grieved and he never mourned for the wanton slaughter of the Palestinians in Gaza. He never grieved for that. And for myself personally, as a Muslim and as a critic of Western so-called civilization, I know that Charlie Kirk himself would most likely have officially anyway considered me to be his enemy. And as far as I'm concerned, any man whose enemy mourns him when he dies, well, he wasn't doing his job. And I don't think it can be said about Charlie Kirk that he didn't do his job, which is to say that he never did anything and he never said anything in his public life that would make me mourn his passing, just as I hope that I will never say or do anything in my public life that would make my enemies grieve for my passing. They should be happy when I die. Enemies are disturbed by each other's presence, not by each other's absence. But let me also be crystal clear about this. It doesn't make me happy either. I neither mourn nor celebrate. Neither of those reactions is appropriate, in my opinion. Whoever pulled that trigger didn't do it for me and they didn't do it for you. I don't even see them as being on 2 different sides. They didn't silence Charlie Kirk. They amplified Charlie Kirk. The power structure never cared about that boy. They used him. And he's more useful to them now than he was the day before. He's more useful to them dead than he was alive. Listen.
You see that? Power structure never cared about him. They used him. He cooking, man. He cooking.
You don't defeat someone like this, someone like a Charlie Kirk, a tool like him, by letting that tool mold you into exactly what they want you to be. That killer didn't deliver justice. If you think they did, he didn't. He delivered to the power structure an even more enhanced weapon. He made a mediocre.
Galvanizing, man. The death of this man is galvanizing the people, man. the so-called white people, the Edomites, man. It's galvanizing them, man. And he's breaking it down. And this is what it's looking like, man. This man is breaking it down so smooth that, hey, the prophets see it as well. The prophets see this as well. You know? The elders and apostles see this as well, man. I'm going to let them cook.
But dangerous and polarizing figure, Charlie Kirk, into now an impeachable icon for the very fan base that he most likely despises. And he made criticism of Charlie Kirk's ideas. Now it's disrespect for the dead. This is not resistance. This is a gift. This is a gift to the very security state that he probably thought he was attacking. No, it's stupidity. Or maybe, as the conspiracy theories are already speculating, what actually happened was just a purge of an expendable asset to create a more powerful symbol. Oh, they'll use his death. Oh, how they will use it. They will use his death to paint every dissenting voice, every cry for a more just world. They'll paint it with the same bloody brush. They're going to use his death to avoid, once again, ever having to look in the mirror. They're going to hold Charlie Kirk's body up as a shield against any examination of the society that created him. And the society that created his killer. The society that they made and that they rule, and you didn't do anything now but strengthen their hold on that society.
That's right. Now this man done been assassinated. Now it's gonna trigger all these Edomites now, to the point to where, like, they're gonna look at every other nation like it's their fault. The minorities first. Because what? I'm gonna show you some clips of how he thought about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man.
They're going to use his corpse as a pulpit to preach from. And you just validated all the lies that they're going to be preaching. You understand me? Because listen, the truth is the Charlie Kirks of the world are not the enemy. The enemy is the society, it's the system, it's the power structure, it's the so-called civilization that creates boys like Charlie Kirk. I call him a boy because that's what he is to me. I'm 54 years old. That's what he is to me, or that's what he was. And also because he presented a childish, simplistic, cartoon portrait of America that only a young boy could ever believe in. He presented an America without complexity, without guilt, without the burden of their terrible history. Well, that's a seductive product. And America has always been an eager market for that sort of a product. He existed because of supply and demand. You demand and the power structure supplies. The killer and the killed are the products of the same sick society. Kirk and his killer, and the other 18,535 victims and their killers. And wallahi, if you don't clock this reality, if you don't understand this reality, and if you let yourself get swept up in all the narratives and all the counter-narratives, then you might just end up being like one of them, on one side or the other side of that gun. Because the machine is already spinning. The machine, that same machine that Charlie Kirk served so faithfully. They're spinning the narrative now. They're going to label him as a martyr for free speech, a victim of left-wing extremism. And they're going to use his death, they're going to use it to demand more surveillance, more censorship now.
Victim of what?
They're going to label him as a martyr for free speech, a victim of left-wing extremism. And they're going to use his death, they're going to use it to demand more surveillance, more censorship, more policing, more militarization of the police against their opponents, more police powers. They're going to use his blood to sanitize his ideology and to legitimize every poisonous thing that he ever said. And some of you are out here cheering about what happened. Why, you're fools. Why, when you celebrate, all you do is elevate and strengthen their narrative. Charlie Kirk was not an outlier. He was a product. He was the logical output of a system that's designed to generate exactly what he was. Like I said, he didn't create the demand. The demand was already there. He just exploited it. He sold a fantasy, like I say, a fantasy where all of the problems of modern America, economic decay, economic despair, cultural displacement, and cultural unrest, political powerlessness, these are all not the inevitable results of late-stage capitalism in a dying empire, no. It's all the fault of immigrants. It's all the fault of minorities, of wokeism. Some internal enemy that's not in power. Well, now he's been killed. And his death is going to be used to service that same system. The security state benefits the politicians that he supported.
It's a lot. Listen to this one more time. Say they're going to blame the minorities. The same people that this man was, no, it's like, yeah, black people shouldn't blame the so-called white people and all this and all that. Now, it wasn't even a so-called Negro or Hispanic and Native Indian who killed him, man. It was one of them, one of their own. But they're still gonna blame you, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Why? Because it's that time. Slap. Slap. Because it's that time, man. It's that time, man. You know, the Lord is about to sharpen his sword, man. But I'm gonna finish. Let's finish. Let's listen to
Problems of modern America: economic decay, economic despair, cultural displacement, and cultural unrest, political powerlessness. These are all not the inevitable results of late-stage capitalism and a dying empire. No, it's all the fault of immigrants. It's all the fault of minorities, of wokeism. Some internal enemy that's not in power. Well, now he's been killed. And his death is going to be used to service that same system. The security state benefits, the politicians that he supported benefit, the media benefits because they get endless hours now of content, of debate, of fear-mongering, of polarization mining. You understand me? The entire apparatus of control gets a massive boost. His killing was not an attack on the system. It was a gift to the system. You didn't extinguish a fire, you just scattered the embers and made it more dangerous. The individual who pulled that trigger, their motives are irrelevant. It doesn't matter if they saw themselves as a revolutionary or they saw themselves as a vigilante. Their actions serve a deeply counter-revolutionary purpose. You understand me? You didn't help Muslims. You didn't help so-called minorities. You didn't help immigrants. You didn't help women. You didn't help anyone. All you did was exactly what they created Charlie Kirk to goad you into doing. Please understand me. You contributed now, whoever did this, contributed to exactly the climate that they created Charlie Kirk to create. No, they're both servants of chaos. The killer and the killed. No, you don't need a bullet, you need a brain. You need a mind that can't be manipulated. You need an inflammable heart. A heart that can stay calm, cool, and collected when everything around you is in flames. That's what you need. And wallahi, you can't let the hatred of a people cause you to act unjustly, or to advocate or to endorse injustice, or to celebrate injustice. Don't let that boy's enmity towards us and ours towards him make you think that his murderer is our ally. No. You don't answer words with bullets. You know, back in the day, back in the time of the Sahaba, when the Muslims would fight against the kuffar. The kuffar, they would bring their drummers and they would bring their singing girls to egg them on. Nobody ever killed them. Well, that's what Charlie Kirk was. You don't win a war by targeting the singing girls and the drummers of your enemy. That's no strategy. I've said many, many times, you have to erect your partitions around your discourse, around your people, around what you let into your mind. Or you're going to lose your focus and you're going to lose your purpose and you're going to get confused and you're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make wrong decisions, unjust decisions, immoral decisions, because you let yourself get provoked. No. For me personally, I didn't care about Charlie Kirk yesterday, the day before, and I don't care about him now. I don't mourn and I don't celebrate. That's strategic indifference. And I don't respect anyone who tries to tell me that I'm supposed to grieve. And I don't respect anyone who tells me that I'm supposed to be happy. What is he to me or me to him? He certainly isn't more important to me than the most likely hundreds of thousands of my brothers and sisters that you cut down in Gaza. You didn't mourn any of them, and I didn't tell you to, because I already know how you are. I already know that your performance of mourning over Charlie Kirk has nothing whatsoever to do with respect for human life. He was just a vessel for an ideology that you hold sacred. And it's an ideology that dehumanizes people. It's an ideology that disregards the sanctity of life. And we've seen that on full display for the last 2 years. So no, obviously not. I'm not the least bit interested in accommodating your weaponization of selective compassion and selective sympathy. Now, if you want to paint my indifference, if you want to spin my indifference as if it is approval of the crime that was committed, well, okay, I already know that you never do anything but lie anyway. And I know that you are from exactly the same manipulated, mutated, mutilated, and maladjusted population that created the demand that the power structure met by giving you Charlie Kirk, and that gave you his killer. Meaning you're just part of that mob in America. That same collective monster that's responsible for the American genocide of the indigenous people. That's responsible for genocides in Guatemala, genocides in Bangladesh, in Iraq, in Cambodia, in East Timor, in West Papua, and in Gaza. And you're the same collective monster that's responsible for every atrocity, every heinous crime that your country has ever committed. As far as I'm concerned, you poisoned Charlie Kirk's mind before he could even have a chance at a decent life, a moral life. And you poisoned the mind of the one who took the life that Charlie Kirk had. So spare me your counterfeit moralizing. No, you turned your country into a psychological and a spiritual torture chamber. And then your country turned the global south into a physical and an economic torture chamber. And now that system, that same system that you're serving, is turning inwards on you now. I told you that political violence, division, and terrorism, and civil unrest, and turmoil, I told you all this was going to be coming home. Why? Because that's your business model. That's your business model. And you're the only market left to vanquish. And the more you give yourself up to all these twisted, polarizing, hateful narratives, well, all you're doing is playing along with your own demolition.
God damn. God damn. Cook the ass. Fair use, fair use, fair use. But let me get into us galvanizing.
Bullshit! I've never been so pissed in my whole life. And this murder Charlie Kirk right here in Utah. I'm so freaking pissed right now. This is bullshit. I just saw blood squirting out of his neck. I love that guy. He would have been our next president. I am so pissed right now. Why do they always come with fucking violence? Gosh damn it. Use your freaking words as they're talking to you people. Who shot Charlie Kirk? I'm driving in a Provo right now. I'm so pissed. Damn it.
They mad, man. They mad. They mad, man. And you know what, man? They about to turn the blame on Jake, man. They about to turn the blame on niggas, man. On you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Because, hey, y'all the ones that don't need to exist, they feel, man. Y'all the ones that just been doing bullshit in the world, man. You know? Hey, you gotta take heed of this devil, man. Because, hey, this devil was about to make a move, and everything that man spoke, man, the prophets had already spoken it, man. You know, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone have already spoken it, man. You know? But let me get this Ecclesiastes 11:33. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot, man. And that's what this man has done to us, y'all. And that's why we got to watch this man, because this man is about to bring a perpetual blot, man, towards his people, towards you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You know? The death of this man is galvanizing these people, man. It's galvanizing these people, man. Let me get something else I want to show you. Look, There's some little memes I caught. We are not angry enough. Say her name, Dr. Julia Schultz. Chanel. She was killed yesterday while walking her dog in Auburn, Alabama. Deshae Dabney arrested and charged. Hey, see? It says, there's another one over here. It says he was walking with his wife for a bus when Daniel Michael attacked him with a hatchet in L.A. They lost their stillborn son, Brooks, months ago. There will be no protest. They won't make national news. Salat. They won't make national news. So, hey, they're angry, man. You know, see what type of spirits these events are staring up towards these devils. They really just tired of holding it in, man. Let me get that scripture, man. They really just tired of holding it in on Jake, man. You know, they really just tired of holding in on you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You know, cause, hey, with this man, let me read this. It's time to rise up against these preventable crimes. Criminals belong locked up. Hey, hey, and who you think they talking about, man? They're not talking about their people. No, they're talking about you Negroes, man. They talking about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let's see what Mr. Elon Musk said, man. Mr. Tesla himself. Breaking. Elon Musk confirms that the white race has two simple options to make. Be conquered and enslaved while being called racist, or reclaim our nation, our dignity while being called racist, man. Hey, that's OC, man. That's OC, man. Hey, this man ain't playing, man. Hey, they are not playing, man. Hey, you see what Esau is ready. Let me get a precept. Let me get a precept, man. Because Jake is about to be that. Jake is gonna be that blot, man. Jake is gonna be that stain. Y'all about to be that stain for this man's death, man. You know? Let me get that precept. This is Ezekiel chapter 21. Start at verse 9. Y'all about to be that stain, man. This man is about to make y'all a perpetual stain, man. Literally, on this land. You know? This is Ezekiel 21, verse 9. Son of man, prophesied and say, thus saith Yahweh, say, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpening to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? It contendeth the rod of my son as every tree. And he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished, to give it into the hand of the slaughter. Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people. You see that? And it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Tears by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite therefore upon thy thigh, man. And that sword being sharpened as furbished is right now, man. Esau is gathering up, getting up all these stories and all his little lullabies he need to do to infiltrate the hoods, to go where you Negroes dwell, man. You know, this sword is being sharpened for y'all, man. You know, And what make this is why this man is going motherfucking. This man
has no problem
this
putting his
man
true
don't deal
beliefs
with
about
niggas.
anyone who isn't a white, rabid conservative like him on full display.
You're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot.
That's a lot. Fair use. And my Lord has also heard him say this about his
Wonder, you say, I hope they are.
He has no problem putting his true beliefs about anyone who isn't a white, rabid conservative like him on full display.
You're gonna remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian. See a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman. I wonder, is she there because of her excellence? Or is she there because of affirmative action? Thomas Sowell and Justice Clarence Thomas are far better black role models to celebrate than Martin Luther King. Period. End of story. This guy is not worthy of a national holiday. He is not worthy of godlike status. In fact, I think it's really harmful. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52. I'm going to trust the Lord. I know what we're saying is true. I was disappointed because I said, listen, guys, you could hate what I'm doing. You could criticize it. I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do I do?
See that? See the mindset he had against Jake? Look at the mindset he had against Jake, man. Got another one.
Of course we pander to blacks. They're in every TV commercial. They get more privileges to come into society. They come into every college on preferential with lower test scores. You can't ever say anything negative. You can lose your job. You have your entire life obliterated if you say something racist. And yet we have to hear about how racist we are. How about you take responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming the white man?
To my great fellow Americans.
Crazy work, man. It's the mindset he got again. And that same mindset he got against you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the ones that love him and is behind him and that's crying about his, mourning about his rebirth moment, his unalive moment, they have the same mindset. They have the same mindset, man. Their mindset is no different. Those who love him have the same mindset, man. Those Edomites who love him have the same mindset about you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. And that sword is getting ready to come out towards y'all, man. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 7. And they're going to feel like this is their excuse. This is their excuse. And look, Lord forbid, they motherfuckers, Lord forbid, hey, they said they caught the shooter, right? Okay, they caught the shooter. Okay, the shooter can be like, I shot, I did this because he said this about the black people. I didn't agree with him saying this about the black people. I didn't like it. And then you know what they'll do? To put fuel to the fire that they want to do, they really want to unleash, you know what they'll do? Son, you're right. It's not your fault. It's their fault. It's their fault that they're mad that he feel this way. So you know what? You just hang on. You know what? You just hang on because it's not your fault. It's the niggers' fault. It's all the niggers' fault. The niggers are too free. They're piggybacking off of us. They're taking all the benefits. It's the niggers' fault. It's not your fault. We understand. It's not your fault. That could play out, man. That could fucking play out, man. Just so they can just unleash on Jake. But that sword is glistening for Jake. That sword is glistening for Jake, man. This is let me get this scripture. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 7. All that have found them, have devoured them. And their adversary said, we offended not, because they have sinned against thee, Yahweh, the habitations of justice, even Yahweh, the hopes of their father, the hope of their fathers, man. And hey, that's how Esau is gonna play it out. That's Esau's excuse to let unleash on you niggas, man. Because y'all have sinned against the Heavenly Father. You know? This is his excuse, man. You know? But this gonna play out, hey, and they could push this agenda, man. Very well. You know? But meanwhile, we got Jake doing this.
I'm very angry because you don't get your lick back.
Meanwhile, we got Jake doing that. But it's all right, Jay, because he's a sweet Jesus, man. He's a sweet Jesus, man. He's a sweet Jesus now, man. You ain't got to worry about it, Jake. You ain't got to cry no more, Jake. He's a sweet Jesus, man. You know? And with that, I'm going to end it.